It was a golden afternoon in Los Angeles, the kind that wraps the city in a warm glow, inviting its inhabitants to pause and savor the day. Barron Trump, now 19 and quietly stepping into adulthood, had spent his morning poring over a history book, a personal interest he'd recently cultivated. Feeling the need for a change of scenery, he decided to visit La Terrace, a prestigious establishment tucked away on a quiet street, known for its exclusivity and the whispered presence of celebrities. Dressed simply in jeans, a crisp shirt, and a bright red MAGA hat, Barron entered the restaurant. The hat wasn't a statement for him. It was as casual as a favorite baseball cap. He walked through the glass doors, greeted by the hostess, who offered him a polite but slightly strained smile. Seated near the back, Barron opened the menu and began scanning for his usual order. The manager, a man in his mid-40s with a commanding presence, stopped at Barron's table, his expression a blend of discomfort and resolve. "I'm sorry, sir," he began, his voice just loud enough to draw attention, "but we have a policy against political attire. I'll have to ask you to remove your hat." Barron looked up, calm but slightly puzzled. "I wasn't aware of that policy," he replied evenly. "I'm just here to enjoy lunch." The manager's posture stiffened. "It's in our code of conduct. We strive to keep this a neutral space for all guests." For a moment, Barron considered his options. The room had fallen silent, and he could feel the weight of dozens of eyes on him. Finally, he nodded. "If that's how you feel, I'll leave." With that, he stood, collected his things, and walked out, leaving behind an untouched glass of water and a room thick with awkward tension. Outside, Barron paused under the California sun, adjusting his hat with a quiet resolve. Disappointed, but not angry, he headed down the street to clear his mind. The spark ignites. Back at his apartment, Barron recounted the incident to his mother and close friends. While their reactions ranged from outrage to sympathy, Barron's own response surprised even himself. "This isn't about me," he said. "It's about something bigger. How quick we are to judge, to shut down, to divide." Inspired, he began sketching a plan in his leather-bound notebook. Instead of feeding into the anger that was already swirling online, blurred photos and posts like, "Barron Trump kicked out for a hat." He envisioned something constructive, a public event to bring people together, a celebration of dialogue, community, and shared humanity. Within hours, Barron's network of friends and mentors sprang into action. Calls were made, permits secured, and by the next morning, the street outside La Terrace was transformed. The fundraiser. Food trucks lined the block, a small stage stood ready for speakers and performers, and banners reading "Bridges Over Walls, a community event for unity" fluttered in the breeze. The event was more than a fundraiser, it was a call to action, supporting programs that fostered dialogue and inclusion. Sucks. As the event unfolded, the atmosphere was electric. Families painted murals, activists shared stories, and strangers struck up conversations. Barron, dressed casually but notably sans hat, worked the crowd with quiet charisma. He wasn't a politician or an activist, just a young man who believed in the power of connection. Inside La Terrace, however, the mood was somber. The restaurant, usually bustling, was eerily quiet. The manager watched the event from the window, his expression unreadable. He had been confident in his decision the day before, but now, seeing the positivity radiating from the street, he began to feel a nagging doubt. Finally, after hours of internal debate, he stepped outside. The crowd hushed as he approached Barron, who greeted him with a polite smile. "I owe you an apology," the manager began, his voice low but steady. "I let my assumptions get the better of me. I thought I was protecting my business, but I see now that I was closing myself off." Barron nodded thoughtfully. "Takes courage to admit that," he said. "What matters is where we go from here." I sighed. The manager hesitated. If there's any way I can support this, I'd like to help. Barron's eyes lit up. Why not host an event like this? Use your space to bring people together instead of pushing them apart. The suggestion caught the manager off guard, but after a moment he smiled. Let's make it happen. I have to get up there, he said as he posted the comment. Oh, I try, a ripple, it's right. As the fundraiser wound down, Barron addressed the crowd one last time. Yesterday, I was asked to leave because of a hat. That's okay. I respect the right to enforce policies. But what struck me wasn't the act itself, it was the bigger picture. We're so quick to take sides, to turn disagreements into battles. Today, we've shown that it doesn't have to be that way. Thank you for proving that unity isn't just a possibility, it's a necessity. The applause was thunderous, and as the crowd dispersed, many left with more than just memories. They carried with them a renewed sense of hope. The incident, once a flashpoint of division, became a catalyst for change. Weeks later, La Terraza hosted its own community event, with the manager publicly crediting Barron for inspiring the idea. The restaurant regained its reputation, not as a place of exclusivity, but as a hub for inclusivity and dialogue. And Barron? He continued his quiet path, not seeking fame or validation, but always looking for ways to turn conflict into connection. His story became a reminder that even the smallest actions, a hat, a conversation, a choice, can ripple outward, transforming not just a moment, but an entire community.